I'm sure many of you have experienced this. You plan carefully, you push forward, you remain disciplined, and yet something invisible interferes with all your plans. And it happens not once, not occasionally, but repeatedly. What helps some people to do it successfully and why others cannot do that? And it doesn't depend on whether they want to do this or whether they don't want, whether they're talented or not. We all know that we have the conscious part of our mind, while on the surface or above the surface, but what lies deep behind. And here we know many concepts that talk about the unconscious or the subconscious part of our inner life, and I prefer to call that.
Hi there, welcome to the replay of our after hours discussions with professional coaches. Your exclusive complimentary Sunday session for all of our community around the world, where coaching minds unite with our people to create real world results. I am Adrian Cahill, your host and founder of the Motivate community, and more recently, Monday Morning Motivation. As a global trainer in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, coaching, and hypnosis, this weekly gathering brings some of my colleagues from trainings, my fellow students and coaches all together in one place where we can discuss, share, help change the world by delivering free, quality information that's here to help you transform.
Okay, so hi guys, once again, today we'll talk about the hidden game behind your goals and our goals, and exactly we'll talk about the following: how early psychology shapes success and the reality we create. And why I'm interested particularly in this topic. Just a moment, I need to understand how to change the slides. So it's all about my scientific, mostly scientific, and of course, teacher training, yes, background, because while I used to be a teacher of English and a teacher of intercultural communication, yes, and later on I got my degree in psychology and non-medical psychotherapy and coaching. And so I've been always interested in how it works with people. How they thrive for their better life and what helps some people to do it successfully and why others cannot do that. And it doesn't depend on whether they want to do this or whether they don't want, whether they're talented or not. But because I knew so many people who were and are amazingly diligent and hardworking, but they still don't achieve those amazing goals they're thriving for. And then I made it the focus of my research, and finally I got to the concept of psychodynamic coaching. Of course, it's not new. There are many other people who wholeheartedly research the area of science, yes, and psychology, but still. And psychodynamic coaching combines two concepts. They are in-depth psychology, and traditional coaching, which implies cognitive and behavioral things, right? And this combination gives great results for me, first of all, and for my clients and for my students. Okay, and let's go ahead. Just one moment. What we will explore today, the agenda is really bountiful. So we'll talk about the goals and the reasons why goals often fail despite discipline or effort. We'll talk about our early psychological patterns and how they shape what we want and how we allow ourselves to achieve that. We'll discuss the hidden internal conflicts that lead to procrastination, burnout, lack of fulfillment. And I hope each participant, if you want to, you can explore how it works with you in your inner reality. We will talk how to balance imagination and action, and how this balance determines the results. Well, of course, there'll be some practical ways to identify and shift unconscious patterns while affecting our goals. And in the end of our meeting, hopefully, we will experience a wonderful guided in exercise, a kind of meditation, while to explore relationship with your goals in your inner reality on a deeper level. So how's the plan? So of course it's it's about plenty of information, I guess, but okay, let's try to do that together. Okay, so I'm sure many of you have experienced this. You plan carefully, you push forward, you remain disciplined, and yet something invisible interferes with all your plans. And it happens not once, not occasionally, but repeatedly. And if we look at the picture on the right, so you will see that we all know that we have the conscious part of our mind, while on the surface or above the surface, but what lies deep behind. And here we know many concepts that talk about the unconscious or the subconscious part of our inner life, and I prefer to call that psychodynamic patterns. So these are the patterns that influence how we feel, how we live, but we don't realize them, and they definitely are deep rooted in our developmental traumas or developmental patterns which we learned to be in our childhood. And if we look at the real problem, so to speak, most people assume if I try harder, I will succeed. This is a very conventional pattern with people who are, with adult people who are making their career hard, yes, who want to make money and have other beautiful goals in their life. But in reality, effort doesn't override unconscious structure. And many people are not failing at goals as they think, and they often blame themselves for that, but they are faithfully reproducing some internal patterns. And I should say that this invisible is not lack of effort, yes, but it's the, so to speak, unconscious level of our psychodynamic patterns and the unconscious emotional patterns shaped by our very, very early experiences. How early are these experiences? Actually, the very first year after our birth. Yes, the first 3 years are absolutely critical to the way we achieve goals in our adult life. And the other 4 are critical as well, but maybe they influence a little bit less our strategies. But all in all, the first 7 years of our very early childhood, define who we are as goal setters and goal achievers in our adult life. To make a long story short, yes, our conscious mind sets the goal, but the subconscious determines whether we will move towards this goal or away from it, even away, because it often happens that we, for example, we want, great career and a wonderful partner, but in fact, we do the opposite and we do things which, stop us from getting what we want, but we don't realize that. Yes, and in my work, I call this our inner architecture of self-worth. Yes, the structure that quietly, invisibly shapes our choices, actions, and ultimately our results in real life, so to speak, material, tangible results. Here I would like to speak a little bit about the idea of integrative psychodynamic coaching, which I'm a founder of. So even if we are highly aware, and even if we have worked with a coach or a psychologist or psychotherapist, just imagine for a moment that still, if you're really, really, really a self-aware person, yes, but it's still not the adult part of you that is actually pursuing your goals, but the inner baby who learned how to do it in the first 7 years of life. And that's why the external reality, all we have in our material world, our partner, our family, our job, our health, emotional and mental and physical, somatic health, it's just the psychodynamic structure, the invisible structure, and the way we learn to want, to receive, to act, and relate to outcomes as babies. So, and now I suggest that we look at the goals setting and what it actually requires. To my mind, and in the concept of integral psychodynamic coaching, healthy goal setting, but healthy, of course, it's not medical model, right? But emotionally healthy goal setting depends on 6 internal capacities, which again are defined by our early developmental patterns. And the first one is the ability to desire. So to feel I want, allow ourselves to want, because a lot of people, they kind of ban themselves to want whatever they really deserve to want. Yes, then the ability to recognize desire, because lots of people simply don't know what they want. You know, they want for their boss, they want for their husband or wife, they want for their children, but they don't want what they want for themselves, right? Then the ability to choose, even if we realize what they want, another stumbling block is to let go of alternatives, right? To go for this or that. And many people are afraid, subconsciously afraid, to choose one alternative because they will lose the other. So, and it's all about grief, because we lose the other alternative, which we don't choose. It's all about pain and grief and, something that we, kind of lose. Yes, and that's why it's a big problem for many people too, right? The next thing is the belief that it is possible. Yes, because many people think that we live in this very hard and bad world, and there's a lot of pain, aggression, violence, right? And it's better not to start, right? Like, I'm small, I'm nobody, or maybe I have little. I've got really few opportunities, right? And that's why. Well, even if I start, there'll be no success. And that's why people don't start at all, right? Then it's the ability to translate desire into particular goals, particular steps, because some people, they can dream really, really well. Yes, they can, dream globally, think globally, but they never act. Yes, and because it's another big kind of fright that while something will go wrong, or maybe again success is not achievable, or these local steps are not so inspiring, well, and that's why people again stay where they are. And last one, yes, is the ability to imagine a pathway, how I will get from the point where I am to my future beautiful life, and while kind of imagining the strategy of my life, or the strategy of goal setting and achieving, right? And for some people, it's also kind of a problem, because they may not even think of that, imagine how the strategy will work in the real life. And if one of these is missing, the system simply collapses. And every step in the system, as I believe that, each internal capacity, well, actually counts. And even now, while I keep on speaking, and in a few minutes, I will invite you to interactive discussion. You can, if you wish, analyze your strategies, your capacities, and maybe capacities of your well, people who really mean a lot to you, if you want to, yes. So, or maybe your clients, and you can analyze whether the system works for you or not, because it's how it works for me, but in my clients, but maybe it doesn't for you, right? That's why it's always a good ground for discussion. Yeah. And perhaps just a few examples, right? How it can work with little children. And how it can work with adults, right? For example, in the early mother-baby relationship, it's the very first year, right, of our life. If mother is available, she responds, she feeds, she attunes, she is warm, yes, and meets child's baby's emotional needs. Well, the baby gets the message, I can want and I will receive. Yes, and later in life, this becomes the following strategy for an adult person. I can set goals and I achieve them. But for example, if this experience is inconsistent or absent, or it's a different pattern, I mean, the opposite pattern, well, a child gets the message, it's not safe to want. I won't get what I need. Right. And it's exactly how adult people later on feel. They, sabotage, they hesitate, they feel blocked. Right. And it's always sad, to reveal that the strategy have worked in people for many, many years, maybe 30, 40 years. But good news that it's never late to change the strategy. And if you do, the life, is getting a lot more inspiring for you. Okay, and now I suggest that we talk a little bit if you want. And I invite that we have kind of interactive reflection. And if you want, of course, right? I suggest that you ask yourself honestly, if that's possible, which of these feels unstable for you, if any, of course, right? And I offer four basic, patterns that can be very strong in adults. First, I struggle to know what I want. Yes, I don't know what I want for myself, right? It can be, again, about your partner, about your career, about money, whatever. Even maybe what kind of parent I want to be for my children. The second one, I know, but I don't act. The third, I act, but I don't feel satisfaction. And I lose energy halfway. Okay, and if anyone wants to share or is brave enough to share, so that would be amazing.
If you struggle with the validation, for example, I think I know what I want, I act, but I always wait for validation, like for someone to tell me, yes, you can do that. Which step is that? I'm not sure.
Okay, definitely. It sounds like, some voice, some recording in your mind, whose validation you're waiting for. And it could happen at any stage, but usually when a baby learns to speak and, realizes what this or that verbal message he or she gets. Right. And as I know a little bit, yes, you, like as a student, as a client, I hope that this wonderful community knows you a little bit too. You're really active, yes, even proactive, you take initiative. And I can assume that it happened at that period of your life when you wanted to show, um, well, your desires. Perhaps you tried out some strategies to achieve your goals, right? But had this, so to say, banning message from one of your close people in the family. I believe so, right?
I'll put my hand up.
Okay.
Nadezhda,
Yes.
if you finished, I wasn't sure, just to keep going. Very interesting concept, and it's totally in line with what I'm doing next week, which probably would have been better if I went first and yours was second. But the question that comes to mind is how much genealogical predisposition comes into this as well. You sort of didn't mention it, but if we look at recognised afflictions like the overused ADHD, ADD, and other recognised behavioural patterns and things which are now categorised, this concept is good, I think, for a normal person, but I'm really wondering how it still relates to that type of concept. That's all. Thanks. And it's a bit high level, I'm sorry, but just what's come to mind.
Well, thank you, Jay. Yes. Well, I absolutely agree with what you're saying, because if we look deeper, well, of course, all the strategies very well pop up, I would say, yes, from the previous generations, and like scenarios in the family that we may have and we may inherit, yes, so to speak, right? Well, did I get the idea right, or maybe you meant something different? Yes. Okay, right. But the thing is, well, as I'm equipped in different approaches in psychotherapy and coaching, and one of them, I'm not sure if it's the same story in the international context, but here in Russia we have, well, one psychotherapy modality which is called constellations, but it comes from Europe, yes, from I don't know which is the right word, but oh, I forgot the name.
Family constellations. Starko here does it a bit.
Yes,
Yes,
family
it is family
constellation.
constellation.
Yes, right. And yes, well, I was yes, and I was there many times as a client, and then I learned the method. But what I really found out kind of surprising and a little bit disturbing, people who use the method, I mean, as clients, they prefer to work with family scenarios, for example, with their granny's love story, yes, or with their great-grandfather's career patterns, yes, but people don't look at their personal biography and how it works in their life. For example, it seems for them easier to acknowledge the hardships of their previous generations than to look at the way it works in their life. What I mean? And that's why now, as a psychotherapist, as a coach, I prefer to work with the personal biography of each particular client, because it helps client to test the reality better, to be on the safe ground and kind of work with what's really what really matters in his life, his or her life, now and here. Well, I hope I made myself clear, right? Or not, Edwin? Is it?
No, I think it's clear. And I also want to add, in some other words, you're kind of saying that it's one thing to know these things and to teach these things, but it's another, and it's a really important part that we do it on ourselves. And we're big advocates of that for our NLP. Like, it's good to notice the meta model or the language patterns of other people, but we want to recognize them in ourselves and in our own. Yeah. Are you calling it our own constellation or our timeline, my family line, like my family? What did you call that?
I don't know.
Biography?
How? Sorry?
Did you say the word biography?
I mean, no. I mean, like, I'm not sure. It's like the Russian term, right? Like, when person doesn't work with the family roots, like, but works with his or her own material. I don't know what's the right word. I mean, like how it works now with my partner, how it works now with my career, but not how it worked in the life of my grandparents.
Yes.
For
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
Taking responsibility about ourselves, not to see
Uh-huh.
the previous, but to take responsibility about ourselves, our own behavior.
Yeah. Right. That's the point. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you so much. So, any other maybe ideas or things
I was sharing in the chat. So from these questions you say, I'm in the second thing. I know, but I don't act.
Uh-huh. Okay. So it's your pattern, yes? How it works
It
with
is my
you?
pattern. Not in all areas, but I have, because the life is separated in different areas. In some areas of my life, I know what I need to do, but I don't act, and I feel stuck. This is the
Okay.
behavior.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Good. Right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm going to share
Yeah.
decisions, or sometimes making decisions, or the options pathway for me. Sorry, Harry and Sia.
Yeah, I think this is one by one. First, I don't know what I want. Then I know what I want, but I don't act. The third step is then I act but don't feel satisfied, and I lose the energy halfway. So it might happen in different areas of life. It might happen at a different stage. When I look at this, I find myself in all four stages, but in different areas or in different decisions I have to do. So that's quite interesting. So I have to map it out for different areas in life, like business, relationship, financial, something like this. So different levels in different areas.
Thank you so much. Right. It can be really, it can, yes, differ from area to area. Yes. And also what I notice with myself and with my clients that while the more we develop, yes, the higher the higher position, well, in this or that area of our life we want to take, while on the newer level, these patterns may arise. For example, I don't know, if I learned to if I feel comfortable and I work through all these strategies while in one position, for if I talk about career, but then I got a promotion, right? And then one or all or a few of these patterns, they can again pop up, right? Because it's more responsibility, it's more pressure, and our psychodynamic patterns, they in the situation of stress, they can again like show up, right? And but maybe it's not so critical because we know how they work with us and we can cope with them faster, so to speak. But it can happen from time to time. Yeah, kind of. Okay, so then we can move forward. Yeah. And if we look deeper at the types of blocks, right, that work inside us, we can notice that there are two fundamentally different obstacles. Yes, and we need to differentiate between them, especially when we work with our clients, because it can be, on the one hand, situational difficulty, and usually it has a little to do with our developmental patterns and how we can understand that it's a situational difficulty, but not our inner structure pattern. It's usually temporary and it's context-based, and usually deals with some, again, stress that I mentioned, or maybe the fact that we're tired or exhausted, or it's burnout. We can overcome it easily. But different story structural pattern, which is usually repetitive, unconscious, predictable. And if the same pattern repeats across relationship, work, and goals, usually we can say that it's not situational, it's structural. And then we can look deeper at the psychodynamic all sides of this pattern. And if we talk about how this structural block forms, yes, in our very early age, there are three basic things that make this block arise in child's life. So the first one is whether our needs as a baby, as a child, are recognized. Second, if they are responded to. And third, whether it's safe to want in general. I mean, the atmosphere in the family was safe enough to make sure that you can want and you will not suffer because of this desire to want. But if the process is disrupted, goal setting becomes psychologically unsafe. And while the core psychodynamic deficits that lead to these blocks, yes, arising in our experiences as adults, there are basically three primary distortions in goal formation. The first is early interruption. Early interruption when a baby wants to try out this or that strategy to show this or that emotion, yes, to show his or her needs, but this impulse is interrupted in the very, very beginning. So the impulse itself is interrupted by his or her parents or other close people. And then we get this basic idea, I don't know what I want. But late interruption is a different story when a baby starts trying out this or that strategy. For example, when a baby is active enough, he or she, for example, can be, running very, actively, be very emotional, can be crying or shouting or whatever. So a baby tries, or a child tries to express himself or herself, and he starts trying out the strategy, but then he or she gets the message from his or her parents, stop, don't do that, you're too loud, for example, daddy's working, or mommy's sleeping. And then, yes, the message is don't do that. It's not safe. Yes, you will make your parents feel somehow bad or upset or whatever. And it's a primary difference, yes, whether a baby has a chance to try out the strategy or not. If it's early interruption, yes, usually a child, yes, expresses some needs, yes, at least tries to do that, but the response is inconsistent, absent, or mechanical. A mother, for example, usually it's a mother, because mother is the very important figure, right, primary figure in child's experience of developing his or her emotional needs, right? Mother can be, for example, depressed or in very bad anxiety, and then child learns the following pattern: my signals are unreliable, my desires are unclear. And what we have in adult people, it will be adult manifestation, I don't know what I want. It can be chronic indecision, it can be difficulty setting goals, right? And as an example, it can be a very successful professional who can manage projects worth millions, but cannot decide what he or she wants to do for his or her own life to feel happy. And it's not always about job, but very often it happens that a person is making a career in the area who or she absolutely wholeheartedly hates, but he or she can do it really well, and he keeps on doing that, despite his very bad emotional status. And this is how this strategy can work. Or if we talk about late interruption, a child needs are not fulfilled, and a child may hear, not now, you're asking for too much, simply receive nothing. And the internal conclusion, even if I want something, I won't get it. And in adults, we have abandoning goals before completion, fear of success, sabotage. And the example is a client may build a thriving business or making another fruitful career, but then he or she suddenly withdraws on the peak of success or before the peak of success, or delays decisions or ruins opportunities, and all that he or she has been thriving for many years, one day all of a sudden collapses and nobody knows why it happens. And if we look at those two strategies, early and late interruption, all in all, we may observe the so-called shadow dynamics when these patterns create internal contradictions. When a person, in simple words, wants one thing but gets the other, or he wants one thing but can't get what he or she wants. And it can work the following way in our inner reality: I want but I don't act, I act but I feel nothing, whatever I achieve is not enough. And this is how internal conflict looks like and lives in us. And I want to ask you, well, which patterns resonates most with you? I mean, early interruption or late interruption? Do you start while achieving goals and then collapse, or maybe at particular areas, particular situations, or you prefer not to start even doing this or that important thing for you? Okay, if you want, you can share.
Nadezhda, it's kind of unrelated, but maybe related. I don't know, because you were talking about early interruption and late interruption. I started again to watch my videotape from my little me when I was 5, and parents made me play the piano, and I said, I don't want it. And I realized that in my life, I usually don't say what I want, but I say what I don't want. And I just realized it now that my formulation of desires is kind of I don't. So how is it? What pattern is that?
Okay, so certainly something unique. Yes, but more about late interruption, because you tried out, right, to do that somehow, right? Yes, but actually something unique is, some counter strategy. Yes. Well, it's our shadow pattern usually. Yes, when we do the opposite, right? When we do the opposite, and for example, how it can work in people, right? Just okay, let me think. Okay, for example, if a person in childhood got the message that the world is not safe, so to speak, right? Then there can be two shadow patterns. One person will be overworking, yes, not to be in contact with his or her feelings. He will be like a workaholic, right? But the other person, and this person will the first one, yeah, he or she will think that he loves job very much. He loves work. He or she cannot imagine his or her life without job. But the other person, he or she will fully collapse and will not make any career at all. Use this, so to speak, downshifting strategy. Just live how the life goes. And both ways it will be kind of counter shadow strategy. Yes. And in your case, okay, just maybe, yes, how you feel. Is it about your shadow pattern as well? Not to do how you want to do, but do the counter things. Kind of not to feel the pain dealing with this situation from the childhood.
I really don't know. I have no idea. For me, as you speak, now I realize that many choices in my life were made out of not fear, but out of pain. Yeah, like I don't want to live this life. I don't want to do this job. I don't want to live in this city. I don't want to live in this country. Now I want in this country. So I don't know. Maybe you know better.
It sounds to me like kind of a protest against someone or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, it can be also our shadow part, right? Yes, who knows? Yes, but yes, definitely our strategies need to be deeply explored because it's not so easy. It's not like 1 + 1, yes, is 2. It's a kind of more complex, of course, right? And yeah, that's why maybe I don't, well, I wouldn't prefer to give fast decisions, yes, and it's always the client, yes, who comes up to the conclusions he or she chooses to come to, right? Because our inner reality and psychodynamic patterns, are something that truly unique, right, and need exploration, detailed exploration in each particular situation, of course, with each particular client, okay? Because I don't want to label anyone, yeah, this way. Okay. So any other
Nadezhda, also
ideas?
look in the chat.
Sorry?
In the chat, look in the chat. People are texting there.
Sorry, because I see my presentation, but I don't see. Okay, just a moment.
No, I wouldn't worry about the chat. We can see the chat. There's a couple of messages in the chat. I mentioned early. I noticed some of the earliness, and Jay, late interruption, I think. Sorry, my internet's playing up a little bit as well.
Okay, yes, yeah, thank you.
It is tricky sometimes. It's really tricky to share the screen and use the chat, and then all kinds of things happen. So don't worry about the chat window.
Okay, yeah. So thank you. Okay, let's go further. And so actually, yes. And if we talk about these early and late interruptions, they influence different aspects of goal setting and goal achieving in our adult life. And actually, there are lots of different patterns which we can observe in adult people. But I want today just to share one of them, which is particularly, I think, important when we work as coaches. So this is dream versus reality strategy. Because when we work with goal setting, it often happens so that some clients can dream really well, yes, but they don't make any particular steps. And the other category of clients, they can make wonderful steps, but they cannot dream. So they, steps for the sake of steps. And this pattern, yes, arises from our childhood as well. And here I want to say that health functioning in this respect requires integration, good, solid integration, imagination, how well we dream, how well we see the strategies many years ahead, and implementation. It's about particular steps, action, yes, and things we can do on a everyday basis to make our goal come true. Yes, and the distortions are as follows. If our client or we ourselves are dreamers, it means we have lots of beautiful ideas without action. We are inspired, but this inspiration is, it lacks grounding. It may sound as follows. I have 10 ideas, but I never finish anything, right? I can, for example, open my academy, but it will be so amazing. It will have many students, but I never opened that. And I'm talking about myself in this respect, yes, because for many years I wanted to open my academy, but I was really afraid to do that. But it was a beautiful dream, which now just a few months ago came true. Now the other challenge is to find students for my academy, right? But it's a different story. And if we are performers or our clients are performers, they they do lots of things, right? But it's without any emotional connections, and results are without satisfaction. And the strategy may sound as follows. I deliver results constantly, but I feel no joy. And for example, me, myself, was and am the performer because I could do lots of things working working in other institutions or academies, working for other directors and for other owners, yes, and did great job. And I was a perfect, I was and I am a perfect performer, but I didn't have any emotional connection, right? And that's why it was a big, it was a big gap between being the performer for other projects, but the dreamer for my project. And then, for example, how it worked with me, I needed to combine these two strategies to start work, to make them work for my projects. That's why integration here includes two steps, while combine emotional engagement and structured execution. And this all for our own dreams, for our own goals, which matter for us. And without both, the system breaks. And now I suggest that we discuss what we can do for our transformation, or the transformation of our clients. And if we talk about coaching, the way I see that, effective coaching exactly, well, it would be a good idea, great idea, if effective coaching restores connection to desire, restructures internal patterns, this very in-depth patterns that we inherited from our childhood and developmental traumas, and builds new behavioral responses. And effective coaching, to my mind, doesn't impose goals and doesn't impose the view of the coach on how it works with this or that client. Yes, but it reveals authentic goals for in each particular case. And if you don't mind, I suggest that now we move on to the next stage of diagnosis. So, and I offer that you look at the list of questions. And if several answers are yes, your adult strategies in goal setting and achieving your goals are dealing with your inner structure, but not conscious cognitive or behavioral strategy.
Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live, free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.